Hi, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Careers. We're super excited to have you on this wonderful Fire Up Friday. I'm really excited to have my two guests with me that I have. I have Liz and Amy, and we are here to talk to you about starting life at CMU. So for all of you that will be attending orientation or anyone just curious about how to start and, where to start with your major, all of that good stuff. So we're going to talk about lots of different things. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. This is the time to do so. We have prepared questions, but as always, we'd love to hear from you. Little bit about me. You guys pretty much see me every week, but my name is Erica O'Toole. I'm an assistant director in the Career Development Center, and I work primarily with our College of Education and Human Services and our global campus students. And I work with our First Impressions program and our outreach program. So as we usually do on Coffee and Careers, I was sharing one of my mugs that I have. In honor of Mother's Day, I brought out my Cool Mom mug from my Rae Dunn collection, who is like my favorite home decor designer. And I have a little 2.5-year-old at home. So that's my fun Cool Mom mug. And I drank a Starbucks iced coffee today. So I'm on campus, which is awesome because we start graduation weekend. So that's like my favorite time of year. So really excited to be here. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Liz and then Amy to introduce themselves.
Well, thanks. Yay, and happy Mother's Day. I'm Liz Tom. I am an academic advisor in the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. And I wanted to share my little mug here. This is from WCMU, our public radio or public media station. And I love it. I got to donate to get that mug. I listen to them every morning, so I want to support them. And I'm drinking chai. That's usually my afternoon drink going into afternoon. So, yeah.
Awesome. Hi, friends. My name is Amy McPike. I am the Director of New Student Orientation here at CMU. We were just talking about this. I have been at CMU for 6 years and actually worked in academic advising prior. So I've worked with Erica and Liz for a long time. I am drinking tea this afternoon, but it's a special tea because my good friend Erica gifted me this, and it's now my new favorite. It is chamomile lavender, and my mug is very old but very special. I've had this mug since my days as a residence hall director. I've had this mug for almost 15 years. It's my favorite mug to drink tea out of, and it always just reminds me of the different places and people and students that I've gotten to work with in 16 years time working in higher ed. So super excited to spend time with y'all today, and of course to be in the best company with Erica and Liz.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I am very excited to share this Coffee and Careers with both of you. So I'm going to go ahead and kick things off with a question, and we're just going to all answer these because I think all of us could kind of add our own touch to each of these questions. I know we all work with students in different capacities. So lots of students out there I know are always wondering, I have no idea what I want to study or do. So where do I even begin?
Oh, yes. I'll start. That is a big question, right? And I definitely, when I started college, felt the same way. I just had some ideas from my parents and things that I thought I was good at from teachers were telling me I should do, but I just had no idea. So I think that's really common and more common than I think a lot of students think because they think all their friends know what they're doing. So I think there's so many different ways you can get started on that process that I don't think there's one way to do that. So it could be obviously taking a class in an area you're interested. You can meet with your advisor like me and talk about some intro courses to things that might be interesting programs. You could, if you know some people in jobs that sound interesting to you, do an informational interview with them or just ask some questions. I like to look at job postings a lot too and just see, okay, that sounds super great. How did they get there? These are the requirements for that. But just lots of different ways. That's kind of where I like to start.
Great.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic. And I just want to echo Liz a little bit. especially for those coming in right out of high school, you're 17 or 18. It's a big decision to make. It's okay if you're not sure. And I think all of the things that Liz shared are absolutely spot on. And because none of us should start in the same spot, we have to do what works best for us. But eventually you'll find it and you'll know, like, this is what I meant to do. And so if it takes a year, that's okay. Explore and have fun with the process.
Absolutely. I'm so glad both of you said that, because I think so many students feel terrified that they don't know, right? They come in, at least to my office, and I'm sure both of you have experienced, and they're like, oh my gosh, I should know this already. Everyone's telling me I should know, and I don't. And that's the first thing I always say. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll get it figured out. You can take classes to start exploring. We have career assessments. There's all kinds of things that we can talk about. Plus, we have so many awesome staff, right? I'm here with two of them today. So we can talk you through the process. We have so many resources to help you. And so it's absolutely okay that you don't know. So I'm glad that both of you reiterated that as well.
Yeah. I love that. I'm going to go to our next question. It looks like it's a little bit more of a statement or a concern. I really like to write, but I'm afraid that an English major really won't get me a job after graduation.
Yeah, so I think that, students, I don't think that this is singling out one major here either, because this is something that a student will come and say about a lot of majors, right? It's just a rumor that they hear about a specific thing, like, oh, my friend's telling me this, or oh, maybe I've heard this from a parent or a family friend. But you can't really just say that about something until you research it or you talk to a professor. I think the biggest way, talk to your professors that have been out in the field and that really know about the different positions that are out there, because the people that might be telling you these things might not really have been thinking about all the different positions that are available within this major. I mean, just doing the Facebook Lives that I've been doing with the different faculty members, I've really been able to learn about all the different things you can do with the majors that are out there. And so there's so many different jobs available to you with all of our different majors, and our faculty want you to succeed. Our staff want you to succeed. So they don't want to see you graduate with something and not get a job. That's our goal for you, is to get a job. So, if you love to write, we want to help you find a job where you can use the major that you love. And so I think the biggest thing is just talk to your resources, and we'll help you use your passions and find a job that you love.
I love that. Yeah, I was thinking about that a lot, because in the college that I primarily work in, I have liberal arts. I can never say the word. And so you have majors like philosophy. A lot of them, political science, different languages, which I can see now that I'm working in it, and I know the programs, and I know the faculty and the things that they say about their programs. It's about those skills that you're going to build that really employers are looking for. In particular, when I think about English, you can do a major or a minor. We also have certificates, and that's for all programs. But I think about that one in particular, those writing skills that really employers are expecting that you have some kind of knowledge in. You can get that from that program, and it's so employable. So I think it's really good, and you can tack that on to other majors or minors. It doesn't have to just be one program, and that's it. So I love that too.
Oh my gosh, such great advice. Oh my gosh, I just love it. All right, so I'm up with question number 3. It says, I'm interested in the medical field, but what if I change my mind once I start classes?
Good question, right? It's like,
oh my gosh, so
like, I'm making this big decision. Is this a good idea? Like, it's so scary. And so I like to remind students that, that first decision you make doesn't have to be permanent. And I think in particular, like, preparing for med school, you're going to be taking some bio and chem and other courses to get you going. A lot of those courses double count as some of your gen eds or your university program requirements, which we'll talk more about if you don't know what that is. So they'll already count towards classes and requirements you need for graduation. So that's why advisors and other professionals are here to help make sure you don't waste anything. but it won't be wasted. It's all a part of the exploring process, I think.
Absolutely. And when we think about the medical field, there's so many things in the medical field. So, you know, maybe you start off and you think, okay, I'm on the track to become a PA in the future. And then you start taking classes and you're like, man, I'm really not doing great in certain courses, or I'm just not enjoying certain courses. And then you come in and you talk to someone like Liz, myself, Amy, and you realize, you know what? There's so many other ways that I can use my love for the medical field in a completely different way. And so I think, you know, look at your interests, but let's think outside the box a little bit. If maybe some of those beginning courses just aren't really working out for you or aren't fulfilling some of those things that you love. We want to see you do what you love. So don't just settle for something because you started off in it and you think that's, you know, what you should do. But I think those exploratory classes, right, those are exactly what they're there for. They're there to kind of help you figure out, okay, this is what I like to do, or maybe this isn't what I like to do. And that's okay. It's okay to come to school and have this one track and decide this is what I want to do. And then 2 classes in decide, I don't really think I like that. And I think some students have a really hard time coming to terms with that. But there's so many really cool things that maybe you don't even know are a possibility. And that's what these resources are here for you to decide.
Yeah, so true.
That's such great. I have to just, Erica, like the student you described just there about like taking a couple of semesters of class, that was me, and completely changed my major because I got in and I'm like, this just isn't setting right. Like this just isn't. And I took something out and completely changed my course. And so absolutely. And it's so, yeah, just, it's okay. You got to listen to your heart. You got to listen to your gut, and the decisions will come. It'll all feel right eventually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, you know, once you get to graduation and you get into your career, you want to be doing something you love. So it's better to figure that out earlier in your college career than after you graduate. So.
Yeah. And I love how those experiences tell you what you don't want to do as well, which is part of the like weeding through to get to what you want. So sometimes that's just as beneficial as like, I really love this. You know, it's like, okay, this isn't it. And that's okay. Now let's shift. So yeah,
definitely. Absolutely. So another question, do I have to have something prepared to come talk to a career coach or an academic advisor? And I actually really thought about this one because it's funny and not funny, because I remember myself as a student being intimidating to go to some of the offices. But I've had students that have said like, I'm really intimidated to come to an appointment because I don't know, you know, what I have to bring with me, or I thought I had to have all this stuff prepared. Or I was just kind of intimidated to come. I thought I had to dress up professionally to come to a career coaching appointment, and I don't have professional clothes or any of that stuff. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this question a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I know I can speak from the academic advising perspective for sure. When I think about it, there isn't a set thing that I want you to do to prepare. You don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but I love if you think about some questions. And I know I'm a person who likes to have them written down because maybe I'll get to a meeting, maybe I might feel intimidated and my brain will just go blank. So something that's really helped me is just jotting down a few questions, even on a card, or just knowing it ahead of time. And just so that you know where you want to focus. And, you know, a lot of times you'll get into a meeting, you start talking about something and then you totally forget. And then you end the meeting and you're like, wait, I forgot to ask that, which of course you can ask later. But I think just thinking about those ahead of time is really helpful for me when I start to talk to you, because I have lots of questions. I like to ask questions about what you want. And so just kind of being ready for that. But you don't have to know what you want to do when you come to meet with me. You don't have to have all the answers. It's part of a process, and it's not a one meeting and we're done. We've got everything figured out. Like, I'm going to help guide you through, but you know, be ready with some things you want to ask me. How can I help you the best as well in the process?
Oh my gosh, Liz, I love how you said that it's a process, because it's so true. And yeah, and it's okay if it takes 3 times or 5 times or whatever. I mean, this is your experience as a student. And so whatever it takes for you, we're going to be here every step of the way. And sometimes, you know, you might have 15 questions when you go to meet with Liz, or you might have 2, but then Liz will have 15 questions for you. Like, and it's building that trust with each other to talk about those things, and just, like you said, allowing it to happen, and knowing that it's okay if it's 3 times, or if you come in and you're like, I'm not really sure where to start. That's okay. The fact that you're in our presence in this office, that was the very first step you needed to take. So if that's where we got today, then that's a good place to be in.
Absolutely. And I think with our office, same kind of thing that Liz said, just have some questions for me. You don't have to dress up professionally to come see me. I'm not expecting that. I just want you to come as yourself and just be ready to have a conversation. A lot of times I literally start the conversation with, let's just talk about you. Let's talk about your interests. Let's talk about what you like to do, because we can't figure out anything else until we know about who you are, what your interests are, and what your values are. So, for me, I really like to get to know you before we start the process. And it is a process, right? So about 3 years ago, we switched from career services to career development because we want it to be a process. It's all about career development, not just the services we provide. And so I think it's really important that students understand that the first appointment isn't going to be, I have a magic wand and this is what you should go do. Because we're not here to tell you what you should do. We're here to help you figure it out. And so I think the expectations, I think it's good we're talking about this, because not only are the expectations here that you should bring some questions and things like that, but just so you know, the expectations from us as well is that you're not going to get a single answer in one time. This is going to be something that we help you with along the way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's really good. All right. Our next question is, when should I see a career coach or academic advisor?
So I'll go ahead and take this one first. And I love that we're talking about this for orientation, because we always tell students come in as early as possible. I think the biggest misconception about career development is that you should come in when you're looking for a job. And really, we want students to come see us freshman year or before they even get to campus, because if you wait until junior year when you're looking for an internship, or senior year when you're looking for a job, yes, we can help you at that point, but maybe that's too late already in the process. And so, yes, we can help you, but if you start with us freshman year and we help you along that entire journey, we help you with your networking process, we help connect you with employers from that point forward, that's really giving you the ability to set yourself up for success, build that resume, and then connect with employers. So at the point when you're ready to look for an internship or position, you've already got your wide network of employers and connections set up for yourself. And so I encourage as early as possible.
I'm so glad you said that, Erica, because and as both of you know, one of the things that we talk a lot about in orientation is the fact that, orientation for you might be coming in May or June to see us, or virtually this year, but where you'll be meeting with us, but you have the whole summer. And so one of the cool parts is we have it right on our orientation website. We talk about, over the summer, schedule an appointment with a career coach. Like you said, it's never too early to start. And that's, I think, also one of the beauties about what we all do is that we get to work with students at orientation, but then you are able to connect with us all summer long and even beyond. I mean, we don't, when orientation ends, aren't just like, bye, we'll see y'all in August. No, you can totally talk with Erica in July, or you can totally meet with Liz the first week of August, or whatever it looks like. So I love that you said that, especially as we're leading into the orientation season, for students to know, like, anytime we're here and excited to help you in the process.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love that too. And I think about advising. It's a little bit easier for us in a sense because you are assigned an advisor when you come in at orientation and you meet with that person or you learn who that person is. And so knowing that we're around all summer, we're available, and then into fall, and we really want you to meet with us as soon as possible, because then we get to know you. Just like Erica said, we are partners in this and we want to help you get to what you want to study, what you want to do, what your goals are. what you're hoping to do here. And it's easier for us to help you when it's early and when you first get here, so you can know all the things that are there for you. And if you're really unsure about what you want to study, that's a great time to start that. So you don't get to, I was a senior in college when I realized I didn't want to continue with the teaching program. It's a great program, but I wasn't ready for it. And so I really switched, and I really would have benefited by reaching out to somebody and helping me through that process. And so that's why we want to see you early. We get to know you, and then we can really be your partner through it all. So,
absolutely.
I got to unmute myself. There we go. I've got the next question. So does CMU offer any career assessments? Yes, 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 we do. I'm going to let Erica just go with that because she knows them off the back of her hand. So, but absolutely, lots of great assessments.
Yes, we do. So we do offer career assessments. We have 3 main assessments. We have the Away To, which is really targeted towards our incoming freshman students. I suggest everybody take the Away To because it's free to you. So you might as well take it, right? I'm all about the free resources. So I'm going to type in the chat in just a couple minutes here, but those assessments, all of them are available on our website. So it's just careers.cmish.edu. And the Away To takes you through about 6 different steps. I suggest giving yourself about an hour to get through all of them. But what's cool is the academic advisors and the career development staff can all access those reports. So as long as you use your CMU email, we can take a look at those with you, and then those results can help us know what your interests, your values, all of that good stuff are. So when we're having a conversation with you, that can help us start that conversation, which is really cool. The other 2 assessments, they do have a charge associated with them that go to your student account. So both of those assessments have a $20 charge, which is our cost for downloading the report. So if you were to take those outside of the university setting, they are very expensive assessments. So it's kind of cool that you're able to take them at the university for a very low price. So we have the MBTI, which is the Myers-Briggs, which is a personality assessment. I'm certified to interpret both the MBTI and the Strong Interest, which is our other assessment. The MBTI really looks at your personality, and then we talk a little bit about how that can aid in looking at different majors and then different career paths. And then the Strong Interest Inventory takes a look at what majors it suggests for you. It also takes a look at what involvements that it could suggest for getting involved in throughout your college career. And then on top of that, what careers it suggests. So I really like those 2 a lot in conjunction with each other because they can really play off, okay, this is what your personality type suggests. This is what careers it's suggesting. How can we combine the 2 to find a career that might really suit you in the future? So really great assessments out there. Like I said, I'll put that link in the chat here in a minute, but they're pretty easy to find if you go to appointments and resources on our website.
That's super cool. I know the Away To, when we really first started using it for students and we were being trained on how to like download the reports as advisors, we all took it and it was wild because the responses and the suggestions that we all got were so accurate. And if it wasn't things that we were doing like currently, maybe they were things maybe that people majored in originally in college or had an interest in and went a different path. So it was really, really neat to see as someone who's now like out in the field, but to go back and take it, how accurate it was for the responses and recommendations that it shared. So yeah, definitely recommend that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. And I love how it connects to CMU's programs. Like the hard part when you take those, I mean, I think a lot of students take them in high school. I took them and it was just like, that sounds great. But then you go to look and, oh, we don't have it. Or it's like, what program would that be? Or what major? How do I figure that out? So I love how it's so helpful. and connecting
Absolutely. And the two that, well, all of them, we sit down and we do an interpretation with you. So it's not like you take them and then you're just given the results and you kind of have to go with them. The two, Strong and MBTI, you actually don't receive the results for until you do an interpretation with us. So those are really, they're longer interpretations, about half an hour to 45 minutes. And the Away To is a little bit shorter and you do get your results right away. But they're all like meant to be interpreted with someone, so you don't take them completely literally. You know, if you're not necessarily supposed to get the results and say, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? You're still supposed to sit down with somebody and go through them. Okay, so I think we have time for about maybe one or two more questions. So I think we kind of covered a couple of these. So I'm gonna go with maybe one or two of these. One of them I think we should probably cover is, how will I register for classes at orientation if I don't know what I want to major in? So I wanted to make sure we covered that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I can start. And then,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what you're going to do during orientation is you will be meeting with an academic advisor. And you will get to kind of choose maybe an interest area or a college area, maybe a major of interest. That doesn't mean you have to stick with that through the whole time and you're not signing anything. It's just, maybe I'm thinking about this. But if you're really undecided, we can still help you as well. So we'll sit down. You're going to be in a small group with other students, matched with your academic advisor, and you're going to talk about how do you use the systems? How do you actually go through online and use CMU systems for seeing what classes are required, and then also how to register for those classes and how to plan your schedule that looks good to you. So we'll make sure to go through that step by step with you and make sure you feel comfortable with your schedule as you go into fall and spring. But we are going to be there to help you if you really have no idea how to pick those exploratory classes. What would be a good way to help you in that, especially that first semester, do a little bit more of that digging, for sure.
Awesome. Amy, did you have anything else to add to that one?
No, Liz covered it. And I think the big thing for students, if you've already completed the orientation profile and you selected an area of interest and it changes, that's okay. You can just you can email orientation and say, you know, I had put psychology and I'm really interested in education, and that's okay, because then that allows us to do also is help to get you connected with an advisor at orientation who can talk with you, like Liz said, about the classes that you might want to start thinking about, some of those exploratory classes, you know, or if you're like, you know, I'm leaning towards a couple different things, that's okay too. You know, and the other great part is, you know, when you leave orientation, if your schedule isn't, you know, exactly how or something changes, you still have time to make changes. So when you leave orientation in June, doesn't mean you can't go back and touch your schedule. We can help you over the summer to make those changes as you need to.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So one last thing, I think we have time for one more question. So the last one I just wanted to cover were, what other things can I do or get involved with to help me decide if a major or career path is right for me?
Ooh, yes. So I touched on some ideas I had initially with that first question. Some other things I thought about, even with this question about orientation and scheduling. We know faculty in these departments, and if you want to, you could even connect with them through email or maybe a WebEx or a virtual meeting to talk a little bit more about the program. What can you do with it? What kind of classes would you take? What kind of experiences can you get with it? Are there clubs or registered student organizations that are connected to that major? Or maybe you're thinking pre-med, and there's a club for that as well. So those are other really great ways to get to know other students, get to know the faculty that are experts in that field, and get started on that exploring, really.
Yeah, and I would add volunteer opportunities as well. You know, within the community, check with the volunteer center. They have some great things going on as well. So they might be able to connect you things that really work with your major, and see if you can get some experience out there doing the things that, you know, might help you decide if that's what you love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you said volunteer. Erica, because I was thinking the same thing. The other thing I want to mention from like the orientation lens too, is that you'll connect with our student mentors who are on our team as part of orientation, and they're going into a wide variety of majors. And so if they also in the afternoon of orientation, it's one of our encouraged opportunities, are running mentor chats. And so feel free to log into those. They're themed, and we have some different ones about involvement and things like that. But that also might be a great opportunity the day of your orientation, but then to, like Erica and Liz both said, to start to build connections, to even, ask those questions, after. And I know with a lot of the student organizations that are around academic programs, they oftentimes will bring in guest speakers. They'll bring back alumni. For the pre-health programs, they will have students that are farther along in the process of applying for like med school. They'll come in and talk about their experiences. Even if you're not 100% set and you're like, I don't want to make a commitment to an organization, you can still go to a meeting, or you can go to 2 meetings. Check it out. It might give you, like they both said, some additional insight from other students who are maybe a little bit farther down the path, but are there to walk it with you, and definitely lend some great insight and perspectives.
Awesome. So we're reaching our half hour, which is hard to believe. It seems so easy to talk with both of you. I had such a great time talking with both of you. So any last minute thoughts?
I am just really excited. I love orientation season. I'm really excited to get to know new students. I think my biggest thing is just knowing that we're here to help you. That's our job, is to help you and to answer your questions and to help you find people who might know the answers. Just find what you need. So I think the biggest takeaway is that we're here for you. And so just let us know how we can help.
Absolutely.
For sure. And it's a journey. Enjoy it. Take your time. Do what you need to do so that at the end of all of it, you know that you've made every decision to follow your heart, your gut, and pursue something that you love and you're passionate about. So if it takes a semester, if it takes a few exploratory classes, enjoy the journey.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Congratulations to all our graduates this weekend. What an exciting time in all of your lives. So any of you watching, congrats. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers watching. Happy Mother's Day to both of you and all the moms in my life. And thank you for joining us on this on this Friday. I almost said Wednesday. Wow. I'm very excited that it's Friday, so I don't know how I messed that up. So happy Friday to everyone. It was a pleasure working with both of you and talking with both of you today. And happy Friday, everyone.